I may have to call into question the movie industry's knowledge of when Halloween is. Because we got this, we got Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, we got It Chapter 2 coming out in a few weeks, which, It Chapter 2, I'm looking at that like, okay, well, if that's as big a success as the first one is, then it will last all the way till Halloween, and they'll get that extra bump there at Halloween, but man, all these other ones, you know they're not going to stick around for more than like a couple weeks, which is a real shame for a reason I'll talk about in just a second, but it really feels like they just had they just went into the grocery store and saw all the decorations already up. They're like, oh, okay, I guess Halloween's here. Let's launch all these movies right now.
It's like, oh, Michael's has their Halloween decorations out. I guess we should put out all our Halloween-themed movies also.
Michael's is terrible. Let's just make everything else awful. Except for this movie. This movie is amazing. Hey, everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
That's Peach.
Yes. And we did not see this movie.
She wanted attention. Yes, I went and saw this thing, and I goddamn love this movie. I'm gonna slap my knee, which gets Peach's attention. So, yeah, I had been looking forward to this for a while because it looked like such a brilliant original idea. But I don't even know if you've seen any of the trailers.
I only saw that one trailer when we went to see Scary Stories. And I was kind of weird. I wasn't sure what the tone was. It was kind of like when I saw the Happy Death Day trailer.
Okay.
I did not realize it was supposed to be like a dark comedy.
Okay.
I thought it was supposed to be a horror movie that's supposed to be taken seriously, but they didn't know how to do a good horror movie, so it kind of looked dumb.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I knew from the start, this is definitely, whoa, Peach, go on now. I knew from the start, this was definitely a dark comedy. And they nailed that in this movie, because what this film was about, and I don't know how many spoilers I want to go into, because I really get the feeling like you would love this movie. What this movie is about is that it stars, and I have it up there, Samara Weaving. Yes, it stars Samara Weaving. I have cue cards now for this. It stars Samara Weaving, and she is marrying into this family. And the family, they are this rich billionaire estate that has made their fortune on board games, but they have continued on from there to just kind of spread out into other games. Like they've bought up 4 different sports teams they mentioned, and they say that when their great-grandfather started this company, he started just as a hunting company. So it's always basically been about bagging big game. It's kind of what the tone of this entire family has been. She marries into the family, and there's a tradition where whenever someone marries into the family, at midnight, on the wedding night, they have to go and play a game. And the game that she ends up picking from this little machine that like prints out on a blank card what the game is that they have to play is hide and seek. And when she picks that, the husband looks at her and is just like, oh, that's the one game you couldn't have picked. Which is not like she had any choice. The machine decides it for them. They give this big speech about what alright, you've been enjoying our legs too much. They give this big speech about what the machine is, about how it's like, well, when our great-grandfather was on the boat coming over to America, there was someone on that boat, and they gave them this box, and they said that they would help them with whatever they wanted, as long as they could solve the mystery of the box before they got off the boat. It's this whole big, long spiel that the dad is giving in here, and it's kind of meant to have this tone of that mystery man may or may not have been the devil, which they like to keep that close to their chest. Like, they do not give hardly any information on this family. You are in the shoes of the woman who married into this family because you don't really know anything about what's going on either in here. You kind of find out the little bits and pieces as this film goes along as well. It got to a point in this movie in which I was actually thinking, are they just not going to tell us anything? Like, were there a bunch of deleted scenes in here? And that's when I realized, oh, there's still a giant chunk of this film left because this movie moves. This thing, like, it's not that it's a short film, it's a decent sized film. It's like a little over an hour and a half. But it feels like it's maybe like 70 minutes long. Not because of any bad reasons, but because it moves from one thing into the next. There is almost no meat on this movie. If it is important to the film, it is in the film. Everything that they didn't need, they cut that right out.
It's like basically no filler.
Yeah, there's no filler in this thing. Which I will say is kind of one of my local negatives in here, simply because I really like our protagonist. Our protagonist is great in here, but you get just a tiny little smidge of backstory on her. Like just the tiniest little bit backstory on her. And there are other horror films out there that I've liked more than this one that have given us less backstory on the protagonist, but those are films that didn't feel like it needed that. This one, everything feels like it's planned out. Everything feels like it has a backstory and that there is depth to everyone in here. So it did kind of make me go, all right, I kind of need a little bit. I know you have information on these characters. I would kind of like a little bit more information. And when it comes to the villains in here, the family, they are all very deep as well. A lot of them are there kind of just for jokes. But then they'll say like one line that makes you go, oh shoot, what's the backstory on that thing right there? Because this is a screwed up family that she has moved into. It feels like she's marrying the one kind of normal person in there. And everyone else, there's her new brother-in-law. And he's just constantly drinking. You can tell he knows this family is screwed up. He knows they're terrible, but he knows he has to go along with it. They have to kill her, or at least capture her, for a sacrifice. That's what they keep mentioning. There's like no information or anything. You just get little bits of it here and there. So you know there's some kind of a sacrifice, so you know they have to capture her for some reason. And you can tell just from looking at him, he knows that this is horrible what they're doing, but he also knows the alternative is worse. And he doesn't want any part of this. He wants to be out of this family, but he kind of can't. And he marries into this woman who she is just this ice queen. She is just the coldest. You get the sense like he is just damaged by this family. You get the sense that she is numb to this because she's just like, I don't give a shit. Yeah, kill her, fine. If that's what it takes to keep this house, I do not give a crap. And she feels like a one-dimensional character, but then there is one line in here. Just one quick line that hints at her backstory and how she wound up here, and it makes you go, well, I still don't know what your backstory is, but that one line makes me go, okay, you clearly have your reasons for being where you are right now. And it's awesome that the movie is able to do stuff like that. And I'm totally cool with that with the antagonist in here, with the family. But when it comes to the protagonist, I need just a little bit more. Like there is such a little bit that they give you where they mention that she was raised in foster homes. And she goes, yeah, you know what it's like in foster homes. They try to do their best with me, but I always knew it was temporary. I always just wanted to really belong to a family. And I just kind of looked at that as like, oh my God, that's an amazing setup for the situation that you find yourself in. But now I need like a tiny bit like more of this like, you see, and again, this is in the trailers, so this isn't spoiling anything, but you see that the man that she married, he turns on the family to try and help her. Mm-hmm. And I kept looking at this going, you two have great chemistry with each other. The chemistry between them is fantastic. And one thing that I will say about the trailers is the trailers kind of set her up to be kind of like a gold digger. Because really the only bit of dialogue that you see from her before all this craziness starts, where she's being hunted down by the family and they're trying to kill her, the only bit of dialogue you get in the trailer from her is, I can't believe I'm about to become part of the, what's the word? Empire? We prefer dynasty. That's the only words. So it seems like she's in this just for the money from the trailers. It's not. You totally get the feeling from their interactions, they just have chemistry. These two just hit it off, and she is such a down-to-earth person compared to the rest of this family, and she is so charismatic and charming that, yeah, you do not get that sense of like her being like a gold digger or anything like the trailers give. You get the sense she absolutely loves this person, but you get like no backstory on like when they met, like memories they might have with each other, like any important stuff like that. So it's kind of missing a few details that I would need to give myself that extra depth. And like I said, there are other horror films out there where they give you less depth on characters that I have enjoyed more, but those are films where I don't really feel like I needed that. But here, where a major driving force of this is the love between these two characters, when you get like no information on the relationship between the two of them, yeah, you kind of need some more in there. They keep mentioning that the son left, that he left at one point. They tried to get away from the family. And now they keep going up to her and it's like, please just bring him back to us. Just help bring him back to us. So you get some information that there's some backstory there between him and the family, and you can kind of get a sense of what might have happened there. Or at least like hints of the relationship between the family. But when it comes specifically to the bride and groom in here, yeah, there isn't really anything there, and that was a bit of a problem. But really, that's like my only problem in here. I kept looking at this thing thinking it is moving way too goddamn fast, because we hit a point in here where it's the moment in any horror film where it's like the protagonist is tired of running and it's time for them to fight back. And I thought to myself, this thing's only been going for like 40 minutes, right? I mean, I didn't look at my watch, I didn't look at my phone, so I didn't know, but I was like, has this thing actually been moving that fast? That we are already at this point? No, that's like the halfway point. There's so much more left in this movie. Because it just has this really crazy pacing to it, but not crazy as in bad, just as in it keeps you invested. But basically, I'm trying to think of how much more I can say about this film without getting into any spoilery stuff. And I really don't want to get into spoilery stuff because I do really believe you would love this film.
Do you think we should do like another P-Gore after I watch this?
Maybe in like Halloween or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I would recommend this to everyone out there. And this is, listen, this is like a Fox Searchlight film, meaning that it's a semi-indie film. So I know there's not a lot of people out there who are going to see it, but I am telling you, this thing is damn good. This is one of those films where after I watched it, I just went, everybody in here, everybody involved in this, all the actors, all the writers, all the directors, all of them deserve to be in way bigger things. Like Samsara, I've already forgotten her last name, Samsara Weaving. I went into this thing going, oh yeah, she's the not Margot Robbie actress actor. She's that one that everybody thinks is Margot Robbie, but she's not actually Margot Robbie. Man, whoop, above Margot Robbie now. Not that that's a competition, but yeah, man, I'm going to now stop referring to her as not Margot Robbie, and I feel bad about saying that in the past. Man, she is good in this. But so is everyone else in here. Like I said, the brother is great. The brother is one of the biggest characters in this entire thing. But the mom in here is so good. The mom, I don't know if they did something to her face with makeup, or if the actress was just doing this herself, or if it was just completely unintentional, but she's got one of those faces that just feels like every single motion is having extra influence put on every single, like every smile, every little squint of the eyes, every like little head tilt. It just feels like everything she does has so much force put into it, and that is perfect for that like waspy kind of atmosphere that they're trying to give to these people. It absolutely captures that, like, yeah, they're all just kind of like pod people almost. Kind of like, yeah, just like wealthy people just completely exempt from society. Like, you can tell.
Just like every other like wealthy person in the world.
You can tell kind of looking at her. You can tell kind of looking at her that it's like not the actress, but the way that she is playing this character with how much she is smiling at all times and how tight they pull the hair back on her. You can tell like, oh, she's trying to play a character who's had a lot of plastic surgery. Not saying the actress has, but like how she performs this character is like, you totally get that sense. You get that sense that, yeah, this is a superficial ass family. But there are those moments where you get that sense that, no, this is also a family that functions together and cares about each other. Like the sister. The sister is the biggest fuck up. The sister comes in here, and you've seen this in the trailer, and I hate that they show this in the trailer. I hate they show this in the trailer, but it's in the trailer, so screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You see in the trailer, she ends up killing like 2 people by accident. She ends up killing 2 of the maids by accident in here. And it's not like this bloody, brutal thing where you're just like, oh, she took him down in cold blood. No, afterwards you're like, no, oh, God, I'm sorry, I thought it was someone else. Was she wearing a white wedding dress? I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. There's a moment where she delivers that line, and you're just like, God, I instantly know who you are. And there's moments where you're getting into, like, how much of a fuck-up she is. And you totally see she's just there to be a joke, but there is this deep moment that she has with her brother where the brother is talking about how fucked up all this is, and she kind of makes her point about why she's doing this, and you go, she's actually got like a really good point for why she's doing this. And she's got a lot of depth behind that. The only one who is an absolute cartoon in the family, because I mentioned like the mom a little bit, but the mom, anytime that she goes up to our protagonist and talks to her, you get that sense that she just wants her in the family, that she's kind of the daughter she never had, and when you get to know the daughter a little bit more, you're like, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. You do get the sense like they actually do love this addition to the family, and it kind of sucks they now have to murder her. But the only one who is kind of like just this one-dimensional character is the aunt. The aunt, you see her very briefly in the trailers, but she is there just a statue the entire time, just staring and grumbling from a distance, just And anytime that anyone starts to question this tradition, she's the one who just comes in and goes, "No, you don't understand. We have to do it like that." Like she's almost like from the old country style character, when it was like, "You don't understand the tradition of why this must be done." Like how forceful and demanding she is. That no, we have to follow it and do it like this. But even her, you get a little bit of information on like, yeah, I didn't used to be okay with this either. But then, and you get that on her, and yeah, even just the little bits like that, man, it helps to flesh these characters out so much. It really makes you enjoy them. This is one of those movies where they do not come in here and give you the rich, deep backstories of anyone, but they do give you just enough that you're able to start painting those pictures in your head. The only one who I needed more on was the protagonist, and that was my biggest problem with this. But yeah, just seeing the family interact like a screwed up, dysfunctional, rich family was great. Because it's not like they train year-round for this big hunt. No, there is a moment in here in which you might be thinking, okay, well, the brother married someone and the sister married someone, so they had to go through this too. No, they explain that early on. They say, no, when I did this, I got chess. When I did this, I got old maid. And that's not part of the murder thing. It's only hide and seek. If you happen to get that one, we gotta do the sacrifice. So you see you see this in the trailer. You see the husband to the sister. He's an even bigger screw up than anyone else in here. But I can kind of look at him like, yeah, you probably did just marry into this for money. You do absolutely look at him just like, you're kind of just the screwed up one who really just kind of found this screwed up lady who had a lot of money, and that's how you went up here. Because there was a great moment in here in which you get him and the brother's wife alone. So the two in-laws are alone with each other, and they're about to go out hunting. And I'm not going to say the line he says, but it's the line that you can tell from looking at this character he's been thinking this entire movie. And I always wanted to applaud the fact that they gave him that line because it was so perfect for him to say that line at that exact moment. What else is in here? Oh, the dad. The dad might be my favorite because in the beginning of this film, when he's welcoming her to the family and he's explaining the backstory of the family and the backstory and the importance of this box, he feels like the devil. He feels like he's gonna grow horns, flames are just gonna start shooting out behind him. He is so confident and yet charming at the same time with that same one stone-faced smile on him on every single minute of film that you just look at him and you're like, you're gonna secretly be the devil. That's what it's gonna be. But as soon as the hunt begins, he just turns into that dad who's mad that you can't hold the flashlight when he's trying to fix the car. That's what he turns into, and it is so perfect to watch that exchange. I freaking love his performance in this thing. But I gotta come back around to, again, Weaving. Weaving is the MVP of this film. She is one of not just the best, she's not just one of my new favorite actresses out there, she is also one of the best horror movie protagonists I have ever seen because of her performance and how the character is written. Because this character just constantly keeps getting the shit kicked out of her. And she keeps going, but not in that like badass action here, like I'm gonna put the knife in my mouth and just crawl through all this barbed wire. No, she is relatable. I have always said this ever since the first Evil Dead film. If you wanna make me like a horror movie protagonist, beat the shit out of them and have them struggling to move on. I don't give a shit about action films where the heroes just get the shit kicked out of them and they're like, yeah, but I'm tough, so I'm gonna keep taking this. Like I saw this report recently about the contracts that action movie stars have them sign, where like Dwayne Johnson was like, I'm not allowed to be hit more than 4 times in a movie. Vin Diesel had something about how he can never have this happen to him in film. And they're not things like, well, yeah, because I'm worried about my health, but it's, no, I'm worried about my perception. I'm worried about people seeing me get beat up in a movie because I'm the big action hero. And I just read that and I was like, well, I don't give a shit about any of you. I don't care about any of your future upcoming films because that's not interesting to me in any way. beat the crap out of your protagonist, then I care about them. Show me them getting beat down and still keep fighting to go through that. I love that shit, and she goes through that so much in here. There is a moment after she just goes through something horrendous. Just something where, like, you look at it and anybody else out there, we would have been like, no, out, I'm done. I am done. I have been injured too much right now. She gets such a bad injury after having so many other horrible things happen to her, only for, like, this little glimmer of hope to be right there, and then for it to go away, and she lets out the greatest string of obscenities I have seen all year. Just like a solid 20 seconds of her just shouting out a combination of obscenities. And I just looked at her and went, you, me, same. I'd be doing the same thing, except I probably wouldn't have had the guts to get through the thing that you just had to get through.
You'd just be cursing if you like lost at a video game or something.
Oh, you've seen me. You've seen me do that, yes. But, I mean, she just, like, it was one of the most cathartic moments I have ever seen in a movie, because she didn't go in there with like this bass, like, oh, that's good. Just keep on going, like tie the headband around her head. No, she did what every goddamn person in the world would have done at that moment, and just started screaming out so many obscenities, and I loved it. It was great. And yeah, she just has moments like that throughout this entire film, where I'm not trying to make it seem, when I say like, don't give me the hero who gets beat up and then they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not trying to say like she doesn't keep going. I'm trying to say you feel for her.
Like, have them be vulnerable, basically. Like,
I don't even want to use that word, human.
Human.
Have them be human. When they get hurt, I want to feel like they got hurt so that when they keep going, I am applauding that shit. Because there was a moment in here that, I'm not gonna say what happens, but it is after one awful thing happened to her. And then it involves a loose nail on something. You remember the loose nail scene in A Quiet Place?
Is it gonna be like that, or?
I'm not going to go into too many details on it, but I will just say, that loose nail scene in A Quiet Place, I was like, okay, yeah, that's bad, but you set that up to a point where I knew that was coming. Like, you set that up like 10 minutes ago, and I was just sitting there like, well, when we get to that loose nail. Here, they set it up maybe like 30 seconds before it happens, but I was so invested in this thing going on here, they stopped, showed you the nail, and I was like, yeah, fuck that shit. What's going on with her right here? I didn't even pay attention to it, and then when the nail came back around, I was like, oh my god, you told me about it, and I was too focused on this thing. God damn it. Man, my jaw was dropped open at so many moments in here, and again, we're not going into spoilers on this one, but I will just say, at the end of this movie, there's like 3 crazy-ass developments. Gonna say developments. I'm not gonna say turns, I'm not gonna say twists, I'm not gonna say character arcs, I'm not gonna go into any details on it at all. I'm just gonna say developments. There are 3 crazy ass developments that happen like back to back to back. And Peach is very excited about my hands going up and down. And I just, every single one of them made me go, well, that's gonna be the biggest twist of this entire movie. Nope. No. Yeah, they just knew how to get me like freaking out at the very end of this film. It is awesome. Yeah, I'm giving this thing a 9 out of 10. The only reason I can't go up to 10 out of 10 is simply because I needed more on the main character. The main character, you get the sense that she is human, and she serves as a great like avatar for the audience, and the actress is amazing in here. Oh god, I didn't even mention like how good of a scream queen she is. There is one scream she gives at the end of this thing where she goes like up and down, like back and forth. Man, she must have rehearsed that like 200 goddamn times. She is so good in here, but when it comes to like her backstory, like I said, everybody in here, they give you like just a little bit. Make you go, oh man, there's something there, and that's fascinating. But since she's the protagonist, she's the one I actually need like some meat on when it comes to like her backstory. Yeah, but I love this thing. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. Go and see this goddamn movie. This thing is great. I don't care if it's not Halloween yet. You go out there and you see this. Why is this being released in fucking August? Like, even September I can see. Like, it is waiting until September. I know it's late August, but still, goddamn, man. But yeah, 9 out of 10. This thing is so freaking good. It is great. So, yes, I really want to talk about the end of this movie. I've already given you enough hints on the end of this movie to let you guys know my feelings on it. It was basically just, oh no, what? That's it. That's my reaction to the end of this movie. But yes, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Come back tomorrow. We're gonna have a post-Geekout reaction on that Invader Zim film that came out. That one you can talk about.
Yes.
Yes, and Peach will probably be here for that, but that will be in the spirit of that, since that is all about a dog that ruins everything. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.